24-year-old Glenn Locklear is behind bars after being accused of killing his 20-year-old girlfriend Wendy Jones. Wendy was last seen in the area of Red Hill Road in Maxton on the 12th of August, and she was reported missing on the 23rd of August. On the 24th of August, her dismembered remains were located in a wooded area off Juanita Road in Maxton, North Carolina. During the investigation, the authorities concluded that Glenn killed her, cut her into pieces, and placed the remains into plastic bags before burying them in a shallow grave near a daycare centre not far from where she lived. The sheriff's office said they identified the remains as belonging to Wendy after a family recognised her markings and tattoos. The remains have been sent to the medical examiner's office to officially confirm the victim's identity and cause of death. The investigators said that a detailed interrogation with Glenn led them to Wendy's body. Glenn has been charged with first-degree murder, concealment of death by disturbing and dismembering human remains, and altering and destroying evidence. He's held at the Robeson County Jail without bond. Wendy is survived by 2 young children. In a statement, Robeson County Sheriff Bernice Wilkins said this is the most horrific crime he's witnessed in his 41 years in law enforcement. Jose Navarrete is behind bars after allegedly breaking into a home to take a shower. The incident occurred at around 2:30 a.m. on the 23rd of August, when the authorities responded to the 21,000 block of Christopher Lake Court in Cyprus, Texas, after a caller said an unknown male entered their home via unlocked back door and was taking a shower in their daughter's bathroom. When officers arrived, the suspect fled the scene on foot and was quickly apprehended and identified as Jose Navarrete. At the time of the incident, Jose was out on bond for driving while intoxicated. Jose has been charged with burglary of a habitation and is held at the Harris County Jail. 35-year-old Hewitt Jones is behind bars, facing capital murder, kidnapping, and arson charges in connection to the death of 42-year-old Nathan Gemeinhart, as well as a separate robbery. The father of 4 was reported missing to the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office on the 8th of August. On that day, he left his southern Jefferson County home at around 7:45 a.m. He worked for a property management company and was going to check on some properties over the west side of the county. He was supposed to meet his wife at 11:30 a.m. for his daughter's Meet the Teacher school event, but never showed up. His 2007 white Toyota Corolla was spotted on surveillance camera at 8:40 a.m. that day on Aronov Drive in Fairfield. There was phone data at 8:49 a.m. and then nothing after that time. At around 2:45 a.m. on the 9th of August, the authorities responded to a report of a house fire in the 1300 block of Eufaula Avenue in Birmingham, Alabama. After extinguishing the fire, they discovered the body of a badly burnt unidentified deceased man inside, and the arson attack was treated as a homicide. Later that day, after initial investigations took place, the Jefferson County Police had to be on the lookout for Hewitt. He was identified as a suspect in the attack. They posted on Facebook an image of him with longer hair and his vehicle. A couple of days later, Nathan's car was located abandoned about a block away from where his body was found. On the 24th of August, the coroner's office positively identified Nathan as a victim, and the Birmingham police said that detectives obtained a warrant to arrest Hewitt Jones for capital murder, kidnapping and arson. In the meantime, however, Hewitt was already taken into custody on a $200,000 bond at the Carter County Sheriff's Office in Ardmore, Oklahoma, where he was arrested on an unrelated charge of second-degree robbery and is pending extradition to Alabama. The unrelated robbery incident occurred at 10:38 p.m. on the 10th of August. Hewitt was said to have gone up to a woman in a McDonald's parking lot in Ardmore, Oklahoma, and asked if he could sit in her car. She said no, as she was waiting for a boyfriend, and because she didn't know him. He then allegedly broke into her car and opened the door. He then got into the front seat, pressed the start button, and put the car in reverse while the woman honked her car horn to get the attention of McDonald's employees. An employee ran out and restrained Hewitt until police arrived. In a tribute to Nathan, Nathan's family described him as a good man, kind and faithful, adding he was funny, he listened well and worked hard. He was a gifted musician who enjoyed teaching his children the names of instruments and blues musicians. He loved Jesus. Nathan is survived by his wife and 4 young children, with the oldest child in kindergarten. 25-year-old Charles Motherman is behind bars after being accused of abusing his infant daughter. On the 22nd of August, the authorities responded to an apartment complex in Millersville, Tennessee, after receiving a report that a 2-month-old girl was having trouble breathing. When emergency responders arrived, they found the child face down with devastating injuries. They immediately rendered aid and rushed the little girl to the Vanderbilt Children's Hospital. Millersville Police Detective Jason Perry said the girl was in horrible condition. The infant reportedly suffered a brain bleed, broken clavicle, arm fractures, and other injuries that had reportedly started to heal. Jason said those wounds had not been tended to at all. The baby also reportedly had a bite mark on her arm. According to police, Charles was the only adult home at the time of the infant's significant injuries. Deputies arrested Charles the following day. Jason said that Charles told the investigators 5 different stories about what happened to his daughter, none of them admitting guilt, but all giving excuses as to what happened. Some of the excuses were he put the baby too close to the edge of the bed and she rolled off. Another was getting frustrated at her crying, picking her up out of the bassinet and threw her onto the bed, and she bounced off onto the floor that way, he said. Jason said that Charles has never shown remorse for this baby. No tears, no sadness, maybe a little bit of anger when we questioned him, catching him on some of his lies. He got really angry about that, he said. The little girl remains on a ventilator, but there's hope she might be able to be taken off it. The authorities say that Charles said he's going to get a good attorney to fight the charges against him. The police said he's also a father of a 15-month-old boy. That child has been examined by the Department of Children's Services. He's okay, and he's with his grandparents. Charles is charged with aggravated child abuse, and he's held at the Sumner County Jail on a $250,000 bond. "49-year-old Christy Evans has been sentenced to life in prison for her role in the death of a pastor husband. The incident occurred at around 1 a.m. on the 22nd of March 2021, when Christy called 911 reporting that an intruder came into her home and shot her husband. The authorities rushed to the property, located at 1420 North Crest Drive in Ada, Oklahoma, and when they arrived, they found her husband unresponsive from a gunshot wound, and he was pronounced dead at the scene. Upon further investigation, the authorities concluded that Christy Evans and her alleged lover, 26-year-old Khalil Square, worked together to carry out the fatal shooting. Christy provided the bullets and the gun to Khalil, and she left the back door open for him so he could shoot her husband while he was asleep in bed. Christy remained in the living room while Khalil carried out the murder. On the 25th of March 2021, Christy and Khalil were both arrested and charged with murder. Almost a year later, on the 11th of March 2022, Christy pleaded guilty to first-degree murder. Khalil's lawyer, Tony Coleman, said his client will hold the position of not guilty. On the 10th of August, Christy was sentenced to life in prison. She will remain in custody at the Oklahoma Department of Corrections. Christy and David have been together since 1991 and have had 3 children together. It's alleged that her husband isolated her from friends, kept a tight control on her spending, and physically abused her and their kids. He allegedly forced her to have sex between 50 to 100 men and called her fat, ugly, and a whore.